All right, everybody, welcome back into Patriots Press Pass. It is the postseason edition of our FanDuel betting previews and predictions here with myself, Mike Kadlick from WEEI, alongside Tayler Kyles from CLNS Media. It was our first off week after the Patriots season, but it has been incredibly hectic, as I'm sure you are all well aware. Bill Belichick is no longer the Patriots head coach, and Jerod Mayo is. So we've been up to our neck in Patriots content, but we're still here to provide our betting previews into the weekend, going into the first round of Super Wildcard Weekend into the NFL playoffs. We're going to start with our Saturday games. As a reminder, all of these odds, previews, and predictions are powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston, and they'll make it worth your while over there with some bonus bets and things like that. So again, FanDuel.com/Boston. We're going to start Saturday. We'll go Saturday, Sunday, and then into Monday night. Obviously, chronological order here. We're going to start with Browns at Texans, who the Browns are actually road favorites in this one. Joe Flacco's Browns are favored to win. They are -2.5 on the spread, -132 on the money line, and the total is 44.5. Joe Flacco has not started a postseason game in 9 years, but he has been a godsend. Yeah, 9 years.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, but he's been a godsend for that Browns team. 11-5. He's just playing, gunslinger football. He throws picks, but he throws, 2 touchdowns to make up for each one. Stefanski, I believe, is the favorite to win Coach of the Year at FanDuel. Amari Cooper looks good, and that Browns defense is obviously sensational, one of the best in the league, with Myles Garrett leading the way over there. Solid secondary as well. They head to Houston to take on rookie C.J. Stroud, who won the AFC South for his team last week against the Colts. And DeMeco Ryans. This is actually a battle of, the Coach of the Year candidates between Ryans and Stefanski. I think that's sort of an interesting way to look at this too, because two guys who have really brought their teams out of the woodworks here to fight for a Super Bowl here. So starting with that, Browns at Texans. Taylor, I want to get your thoughts on this one and who you think ultimately pulls it out.
It's tough because these are two of the best defenses in the league, but they're also just two offenses that are really humming. Now, I will say the Texans, I think they're going to have a tougher time. Obviously, we're fans of C.J. Stroud here, and Nico Collins was balling in their last game. But I think Tank Dell, like you did see it did make things
they dipped after that
team.
for sure. When Stroud was kind of on his roll, it was like Tank Dell was a major part of that, and he's sort of pinned off here since
right, and Dalton Schultz is super inconsistent. Like, frankly, he's a guy that I wouldn't mind seeing the Patriots go after because, like, when he's on, like, he's one of the more athletic tight ends, and he's also one of the few athletic tight ends who can also block pretty, efficiently. But you can't really rely on him also because there's the drops, like you saw it in the last game, where it's kind of like, I'm not sure. Also, I know, like you said, it's been 9 years. Flacco found a Lazarus pit, and he came back, and he's tearing shit up. And on top of that, I just don't bet against postseason Joe Flacco. Like, until proven otherwise, especially on this streak, you're not going to find me doubting him. And the Browns defense is just absolutely terrifying. I think this is, going to be a huge test for a rookie like Stroud. So I'm going to give it to the Brownies. I want to say it's going to be a shootout because I feel like it's going to have to be, but these defenses are so good.
44.5 is the number. What do you think?
I'll go under. It's playoff defense. Playoff defense. Yeah. I'm going to go under. Yeah, but I think the Browns win it.
It's the Saturday afternoon playoff slot where I feel like the Texans, whenever they make it, they play in this game every single time. I feel like I'm always going into playoff football, and it's the Texans at Saturday at 4 every time. It brings me back to the Matt Schaub days. But here they are again, and I'm with you, though. I think Cleveland pulls this one out. You can't bet against postseason Joe Flacco. Not only, like I said, has he not played a postseason game in 9 years, but when he was doing that, I mean, when they won the Super Bowl in Baltimore, he threw 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and was just a complete baller. And then he got paid. And then, we all know the Joe Flacco story, but he's back. He looks, to be that dominant self, that gunslinger mentality, Joe Flacco that he used to be. And now in the postseason, he has nothing to lose. So he's going to go out there and keep slinging it. So I'm with you. I like the Browns -2.5. Stroud, Texans, obviously an up-and-coming team, but maybe next year's their year. I think they lose this one on Saturday afternoon. Let's go to Saturday night. Dolphins at Chiefs. The Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites, according to FanDuel, and the total is 43.5. 1 point under Browns-Texans, despite two high-flying offenses. It probably has to do with the weather. I'm pretty sure it's going to be freezing cold in Kansas City. There were some rumors that they might have even thought about moving the game. Obviously, That got shut down. I saw
It's
it.
gonna be like negative 30 with wind chill, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be freezing cold. So,
oh my God.
In saying that, I'm gonna give my pick first because I think Tua stinks outside of Miami. Not stinks, that's strong, but like
stinks against good teams.
It stinks against the teams in bad weather. Like it kind of needs to be perfect for him and that team to succeed. If this was in Miami, I might think about taking the Dolphins, but immediately off the bat, I'm going Chiefs minus 4.5. And I guess I'll take under 43.5 because I think the weather's going to be tough.
I'm sorry. I saw this is not going to be relevant. I don't know why I even did this, but
that's okay.
Breaking news. I guess the Commanders are working to hire Adam Peters.
Okay.
So he is one name who might be off the board for the Patriots. Thought that was a little interesting bit of news, but yeah, I'm sorry. Go on. My bad.
No, just that I do. I think I like the Chiefs in this one because of the weather. I think they play better at home. I think they win by more than 4.5. I think Tua is proven that he can't play in the bad weather again. So I'm going with the Chiefs. What are your thoughts on the game?
I want to bet on, actually, no. Okay. So let me honestly look real quick at the Dolphins injury report to see what the offensive line situation is like, because I'm leaning Chiefs because we're talking like, this is probably going to be a heavy run game type of game, less so about like high flying offense, especially if there's aggressive wind. That's going to affect especially Tua. Like he throws a tight spiral, but he'll also throw a wobble every once in a while. That kind of scares you. Looks like, Teron Armstead might actually play. That's intriguing for them. Liam Eichenberg might play. Okay, so Raheem Mostert and Isaiah Pacheco, those are two real good backs who could really tear it up.
And they're going to lean on them because of the weather.
Exactly. And, obviously Tyreek Hill, like you don't have to throw downfield necessarily. You can hit him on a slant and he can take it to the house. But I don't want to bet against Mahomes. Yeah. And, they still have a good offensive line. They have a really good run blocking offensive line specifically. So, and I also think they've got a better defense. The Dolphins are pretty banged up. I think they just signed like 3 free agents, I feel like, in the past couple of weeks for the defensive line. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I like their defense. I think they've got a really good run game. And they got Patrick Mahomes, who's going to, he'll will them to, some conversions and some big plays. Just hopefully his receivers can actually, help him out when they need to.
There are 3 quarterbacks you don't bet against in the playoffs. It's Tom Brady, it's Joe Flacco, and it's Patrick Mahomes. So I'm totally with you there. You can't go against the Chiefs here. So we're both on Chiefs minus 4.5. Before we get to the Sunday games, we're going to take a quick break to listen to our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook.
NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
That's FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Like I said earlier, they'll make it worth your while. Or they are the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Heading into Sunday, we got 2 Sunday games and then Monday nighter. Let's do the 2 Sunday games before we take another break because we have the Steelers heading up to Buffalo to take on the Bills, the AFC East winning Bills. They won it last week in their Sunday night football matchup against the Dolphins. And with Mason Rudolph at the helm for the Steelers, they are 10-point underdogs against the Bills. Pretty high spread for a playoff game, but again, they're on their 3rd quarterback this season, so makes sense that the Bills are minus 10 according to FanDuel. That total, another low one, 35.5. So if I'm looking at this correct, the next 2 games are in the 50s, but some low total so far for the postseason. So this one's 35.5, and the Bills are minus 10. Bills are rolling. They were 6-6 at one point, but they finished the season flying high at 11-6. And like I said, they just won the division, and Josh Allen is playing much better football since they transitioned from Ken Dorsey over to Joe Brady. So can the Steelers upset Buffalo in Buffalo, or do the Bills roll? Tayler Kyles, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Bills roll. Yeah. Bills roll. TJ Watt going to be out with an MCL injury. That is really the difference maker for me. I would have thought maybe they could be competitive because he's just such a great player and can create turnovers and score points all by himself. That's a massive, massive loss. This is a team that's already depleted its safety. The Bills, like you said, are rolling. Josh Allen will do his Josh Allen thing, but then he also does his Josh Allen thing where, he just battles the two sides of himself. And I don't think on this stage he'll let the bad Josh Allen come out on top against the Steelers at home. So I would bet the Bills for the spread.
35.5.
I think they're going to blow them out. Yeah. I think the Bills can square that on their own, to be totally honest.
So that's the thing that's where I go back and forth on the total is like, yes, I do think the Bills cover -10, and I do think they'll probably blow them out. If you go into a playoff game with Mason Rudolph, I'm sorry, there's no way I can bet on you. But with a low total like that, even in a blowout, like the Bills could win 31-3 and the total goes under. So like the Bills could do their job and it could just be so bad for Pittsburgh. So it definitely, it makes it a tough one to kind of to bet here. So I'm with you though. I think Buffalo could literally score 45 on their own. Yeah, the Steelers defense is pretty good, but with TJ Watt out, that's a huge blow to their pass rush. So if you give Josh Allen time, he'll be less prone to make mistakes. So that's kind of where I'm leaning here as far as the total. So I like it. I'm with you. Let's go over 35.5, and we're going to go Bills -10 because I think they're going to roll.
Look at us. Same
page.
I like it.
Moving on through Sunday, Packers at Cowboys. Cowboys are 7-point favorites in this one at the Star. Total is a high 50.5. Jordan Love, we've talked about him plenty on this show. He's playing some great football out there with Green Bay, but going to a Dallas team, which you've convinced me, and I've obviously came off my soapbox about that defense not being great. That defense has been pretty awesome this entire season, and thanks to a lot of guys over on that side of the ball. Interesting thought on, and this just sort of came up the last couple of days with Belichick's job security. Obviously, waiting in the wings, and then he obviously is moved on from. Could Dallas fire Mike McCarthy if they lose at home this weekend, and do they pursue Bill Belichick? First, I want to get your thoughts on the game because, like I said, Jordan Love playing great ball, Dak Prescott playing great ball. A good matchup for Sunday afternoon. Cowboys -7 according to FanDuel. So thoughts on the game, but then also your thoughts on the idea of Belichick potentially landing in Dallas if the Cowboys lose this one.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been really exciting. I like what I've seen from him. They got a promising young offense, but Jair Alexander got hurt in a freak accident apparently, or like some kind of freak injury where he rolled his ankle. That's huge. Against CeeDee Lamb, who's absolutely on fire. I think he just set the franchise record for receiving yards in a season or something like that. And that is no small feat in the Dallas franchise. Right. They've had some of the best receivers in NFL history. Dak has made some mistakes, but also when he locks in, he's just on one. I give it to the Cowboys. What's the spread again?
7. Cowboys -7.
Yeah, I think so. Because we've seen, like, once they start clicking, they just steamroll teams. And I think, especially without Jair Alexander, I think that could be the case. And again, I think Elton Jenkins may not be playing for the Packers, so that's a tough position for them to be in. I think that they I think I would take the even with them being down, I would take Dallas. So, now, in terms of the Mike McCarthy.
Well, that's where I want to get. I was going to say, I like Green Bay in this one, at least to cover. I think they keep it close. And so now kind of transition to that. If Green Bay does win and the Mike McCarthy thing, I want to get your thoughts on Bill's fit with Cowboys if they do ultimately lose and move on from Mike McCarthy.
Bill's fit is he's going to return to the Super Bowl. I don't even think it's like that's so easy. I mean, that is already a stacked team. I have to look at how they're going to be in free agency and all that. We talked about it on Pat's Daily where, the one caveat would be Jerry Jones, where he loves control. And you can say, Bill Parcells. But Bill Parcells wasn't trying to have complete organizational control. He just wanted to have input. Bill is probably going to want to run things. But if Jerry is saying, hey, I've got a loaded team that's just a head coach away, I think he'll take a step back, especially Belichick's resume hasn't been great on offense, but that offense is fine. Right. Like, they're good. Exactly. They can handle things. And then you can build on that defense where they already have a really talented roster. I think that Bill takes that job easy. It's a historic franchise. I think it's one that'll get him the record that he wants.
Relatively quickly.
Yeah. Plus, then he doesn't have to. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have to stay in the league and like rebuild like a Commanders. That's a legitimate rebuild. Where that's probably going to take a couple years. I know he's been tied there, and it's a DC area. That team isn't very close. You want to talk about people say the Patriots aren't close. The Patriots have a legitimately championship caliber defense already. Obviously, you need to re-sign some people. You need health to work your way, but they've already got a great defense. Their offensive line has enough pieces where it's like, all right, if I get a couple more, I'm good. The receivers are a big problem, but they have the capital to address those things. Maybe it'll take a couple years, but I don't think it's like Washington where legitimately they may be like 2 or 3 years. They've also got a young owner. So, yeah, I think that the Cowboys are just a no-brainer for Bill Belichick.
I'm with you. I love the fit there. I think, and like I said, I think Green Bay covers this game +7, and they do have a chance to win. So, you know what? +265, Packers money line. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cash on that one. So I'm going to take Packers to win this one outright. And then by Monday, we're talking about Bill Belichick potentially interviewing with the Patriots job. So that's my prediction here. Bill ends up at least interviewing with Dallas, and then we go from there. So
I also wonder if even if he does win, if then Cowboys get embarrassed or just lose in the next round, if that's still enough for McCarthy to lose job. Because like the Packers, we're being totally honest, everybody knows that's a super young offense. The defense is solid and has pieces, but they're not the 49ers where, you beat them and it's like, wow, that's a statement. It's like, no, if you're the Cowboys, you should beat the Packers.
Right. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but it is interesting. It is an interesting fit for Bill because as of right now, shockingly, Bill Belichick is unemployed by an NFL football team. So let's take one last break. We'll hear from our friends at SeatGeek, and then we'll get into the Sunday night and Monday night football playoff games here.
I've been looking for the best deal on Celtics tickets, and with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. With the NFL, NBA, and NHL seasons in full swing, you don't want to miss out. SeatGeek has your tickets to every game. Plus, artists like Travis Scott are on tour. They put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you're getting a good deal. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. So as you know, I always come through for you guys. You can use my code DREAMERSPRO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DREAMERSPRO. Make sure you check the link in the description to download the app.
Head on over to SeatGeek, use the code DreamersPro, and they'll hook you up over there. Especially if you want to maybe pre-order some Patriots tickets for new head coach Gerard Mayo and get a look at his first matchup next season. Again, head over to SeatGeek and use DreamersPro as your code. Let's get into the final two matchups of the weekend, Taylor. Rams at Lions is the first one for Sunday Night Football. Obviously, a massive matchup, given the fact that they just made a massive trade with each other several years ago. On one side, it really worked out for both teams, I think. The Rams obviously get their Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, and any move you make, a Super Bowl automatically makes it worth it. So they get their side of it. But then the Lions, they pick up a couple first-round picks and whatnot. They also get Jared Goff in the process. They rebuild quickly. And now they're the number 2 seed in the NFC conference. So fascinating matchup here because of, all the storylines behind it, but also the fact that the Lions are a good football team and the Rams are also a pretty stacked team that got in and got hot at the right time. So it makes the matchup very, very intriguing here. So the Lions are 3-point home favorites at FanDuel, and the total is a high 51.5. So Goff versus Stafford, the guys who were traded for each other. McVay, Goff, I don't want to call it a saga because, they ultimately got along over there, but plenty of storylines and then two good football teams here. Who do you like in this one? What do you make? And who wins the game?
In terms of who wins, that's tough. Yeah. I really do think it could be a toss-up. but I'm taking the
Me
points
too.
for the
Shootout.
for the Rams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That. But I also think for because I think the Rams have a very good chance of winning. At the very least, I think they're going to keep it
Okay.
close. One, I think Stafford's playoff experience. Obviously, God has playoff experience, but I trust Stafford.
Oh yeah, he's won the Super
Like,
Bowl.
head-to-head.
Hell yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious. Right, exactly. But on top of that, I really do think that the Lions have been streaky. I think the Rams have been as well, but I just trust them in this spot more than I do the Lions, who I feel like, especially their defense, has had some really bad lapses at times. So yeah, I think I'm gonna. If I had water gun to my head, I would say the Rams win this one. So yeah, do with that what you will, and I do think it'll end up being a
Okay,
shootout.
I think shootout as well. I'm going over 51.5. And man, the spread's tough because like 3 is so hard. Because I mean, what do you bank on, a 2-point game if you take the Rams, but you don't think they're going to win? And so, I'm going to go with Detroit. I'm going to take Detroit -3.
Mhm.
They're just a better, more well-rounded team. Obviously, the Rams have some momentum and the experience, but Detroit at home, means something. Even Stafford, I guess Stafford knows how to play in that building, but it's obviously going to be a lot different being on the other sideline. So I'm going to take Detroit. I like them this year. I like what Dan Campbell's built there. So I'm going to go Lions -3, and I'm with you. Shootout, Stafford versus Goff, going to be electric, going over 51.5 points in that one. Final game of the weekend now. The Eagles are on the road taking on Baker Mayfield's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The total in this one is 43.5. The Eagles, after a 10-1 start, just completely crumble down the stretch. They have no momentum heading into this one after making the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts has been playing hurt, and because of that, he's played some subpar football. The defense has not been the same. They've made a switch from Sean Desai to Matt Patricia calling their plays. And meanwhile, Tampa Bay,
lateral move.
yeah, seriously, lateral if not downward. Tampa Bay, obviously, they're playing good football here. They started hot, they fell, and now they're back on track. Baker Mayfield playing some great football, and he's giving himself a real chance to potentially become their franchise signal caller moving forward after signing a 1-year prove-it deal with the Bucs this offseason. So Eagles, though, are road favorites just by 3 points. Are you buying into the Eagles' slip, or do you think that they're going to turn it on in the postseason here and get themselves going? What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I unfortunately am not a believer in the Eagles anymore. Like, this skid has been really bad. And I think if we're you could go X's and O's all you want, but this is one of those games where I think it matters just how they feel and their mentality. Yeah. They do not seem like a team that's very confident right now. Then A.J. Brown is also out. That's massive. Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown didn't participate. And the Buccaneers.
Oh, is A.J. Brown officially out?
I really like. I'll double check. But I know that I remember that knee injury did not look good. Checking the news right now. Haven't been any updates on him that I can see.
Regardless, he's nursing something. I just didn't know if it became official yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so but he missed practice. So yeah, man, I can't buy into the Eagles. And this Buccaneers team is kind of the opposite, where I feel like they are feeling good, they're feeling themselves, and they're rolling. So I'm going to take the Bucs in this one. I think they can win pretty comfortably, to be totally honest with you, just because of how bad the Eagles have been, especially on their defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he has when he's healthy. I like Baker. I talk about him all the time, and I've talked about him on this show too. Like he's a gamer, and he plays up to the brightest spots. He obviously in their playoff run a couple years ago, they almost beat the Chiefs. Then he got hurt and he got kind of screwed over in the Cleveland thing, but he proved it in LA. After kind of stinking in Carolina for various reasons. But, obviously now they go win the division down there. I like this. I'm with you. I think the Eagles, don't have any momentum. They're really struggling right now. It is all about feel. Now they have to go on the road. Like they go from potentially winning the NFC East to completely crumbling, and now they got to go on a road wild card weekend Monday Night Football game. I just don't see it for them. I don't know about Tampa winning comfortably, but I do think they ultimately pull it out. So I like them +3, and I'm going to go under 43.5. I think this could be a sneaky.
When I say comfortably, I mean like 10 points. Okay. Just to clarify. Yeah. Like, I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be like a
Tayler Kyles' Monday Night Football prediction is Bucs 31, Eagles 3. Kidding. No, Bucs win. Bucs win by, we'll call it a score. So that's going to do it for us for postseason week 1, super wild card weekend in the NFL. We'll be back here every single week, taking you all the way through the Super Bowl. We'll hit on just about every angle from there. So make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to Patriots Press Pass. Follow along with us on Twitter as well for all of our NFL, postseason, Patriots takes, all that stuff. We got plenty to talk about. So he's at tkyles39 on Twitter, and I am at Mike Kadlick on Twitter. Read us respectively at CLNS and WEEI, and follow along for all the good stuff and all the Patriots news coming. So thanks for watching. Again, we'll talk to you next week, and be well until then.